Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Office bearers and members of the NHRDN network and organizers of the conference, members, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I'm quite surprised that I've been called so early. I thought there'd be a string of speakers before me. It caught me by surprise. And I guess that the others have kept it brief, thinking that the minister will make a very long and lengthy speech. I'm afraid I'll be disappointing you on that aspect. But first of all, I would like to compliment the NHRD network and the organizers for picking on such an important theme, which is so relevant in today's day and age. I know that this is a subject that is sensitive, and it is also equally important. And I don't know how much of a relevance it is in cities where I think the awareness is much, much more. I think the women power is so much more in display. Women are much more assertive in terms of where they stand in terms of their capabilities, their competencies, and I think it's a much more equal world in the cities as compared to probably rural India. At the same time, I think there are matters such as the glass ceiling for women to rise above a certain position in today's workplace. Probably that is what is catching your imagination. Again, I would also like to ask the question, why is it that, when you comment about cities, why is it that people say that, for women, cities like Bombay and Pune are so safe that you can even walk in the middle of the night, while cities like Delhi are unsafe. So these are things that probably we have to question and rectify, do the rectification at all levels. When I look at it from a minister's perspective, and if you look at evolving society, I realize that one of the most fundamental things, if we have to become a truly great nation, is to respect our women. And we say that, if you look at our heritage, if you look at our culture, we do traditionally respect women. But if you look at the nasty incidents that are happening every day, then you begin to question yourself, what is going wrong. There are 2-3 areas I think where we need to really work on. One is, if you look at the lowest common denominator, if you look at the women in our villages who are mothers, who are part of a household and who are the most hardworking in the household, probably they are at a disadvantage, maybe because they did not have the opportunity to study. So that is one of the areas that we've been consciously focusing on as a nation. In the last 5 years, I think there's been a tremendous leap in the way women have been coming forward to participate in the exams that are conducted twice every year to make them literate. This is part of the National Literacy Mission, in which even UNESCO participates. And you will be surprised that today the literacy rate in the country has gone up to 73%. And of course, there are states where there is a big differential in the literacy rate between men and women. But on the average, if you look at it on the average as a nation, I think the differential between men and women has narrowed down significantly over the last few years. We can be proud of that as a nation. And I'm sure if we sustain that trend, we will be coming up to probably 80% in a few years. And maybe in a decade, we'll probably be able to achieve 100%. So this, I feel, is a very, very important factor. And I have seen, personally interacted with women, over video conferencing from different sectors across the country in different states where they take this literacy exam. And you can see that sense of enthusiasm and that sense of empowerment as they participate in that exam. And I think that is a very, very important transformation that is happening at the villages. And I think it all has to start there. The second important factor is, I think, the way we gender sensitize our children. And I'm sure that holds true to a lot of probably rural areas where the traditional mindset of male dominance still perseveres. And that is one of the things that we've been working on from the Ministry of Human Resource Development in terms of building the gender sensitivity aspects into our whole school curriculum. And this is something I think that has to be reinforced at every level. It cannot be just taught as a lesson, but this aspect of etiquette towards women in terms of exhibiting gender sensitivity has to be inculcated by the parents, the teachers, society at large. And I don't think serials like what we see on television are helping that very much. So there is a case, I think, strong case for rectifying that. And I'm sure, most of us are appalled at some of the TV serials that happen, where no relationship is held sacrosanct. So this is, I'm sure, things like that are having a very subtle negative influence on impressionable minds. And this is something probably that NHRD can take up and write to, producers of these serials, which is, I'm sure, having a very subtle effect and a long-term negative effect on the minds of impressionable people. So these are some of the things that I wanted to touch upon as far as rural India is concerned. And I'm sure even in urban areas they are watching these serials. And coming back to the workplace of modern India, I think we are a vibrant nation today. We aspire to be at the high table. And I think we are getting there. But things like probably infrastructure development are what is holding us back. As a government, we are investing in that. But I think as a workforce, I'm confident that in modern India has a very competent and capable workforce in both genders. And you see that happening, women coming into top positions, women contributing so much in areas, of knowledge in our areas where the nation competes very proudly in the world. But I guess as a society we have to go much beyond. If you look at the Scandinavian model, where they have been very conscious in pushing women to the forefront. They have taken a conscious decision that at least 1/3 of their companies' boards will be represented by women. They have been very conscious to push their women into elected positions. And these are the signals of a society that is confident with itself. And I think that transformation has to happen in India also. When we look at the local body elections, after the 73rd and 74th Amendment to the Constitution, we have been able to bring women into the local bodies. 1/3 are women. And when they first happened, when the panchayat elections happened, initially there would be the husbands would be represented there, saying that my wife is a elected representative, so I'm representing on her behalf. Things have changed now. You see women much more assertive, they're much more confident, they take a very active role in governance. And there's been an attempt to bring reflect the same thing in our assemblies and also in parliament, which unfortunately has met with a lot of resistance from a lot of smaller political parties. But I hope that day will come when we feel confident as a nation that we should be pushing more women into legislatures and parliament, because we know that they are so much more aware of ground realities and would be able to contribute in a much more meaningful way to the formation of legislation. Now, having said that, I think it is time for modern India to take a very active part in our democratic process. So we evolve as a nation towards becoming a mature nation, which will be able to truly reflect our heritage of putting women on the pedestal, putting women on the forefront, putting women in responsible positions, and trusting the future of the country with that. So I don't want to speak more than that. I hope I have shared enough jnana. But I would again like to compliment NHRD Network for organizing this conference. And I'm sure that conferences like this will go a long way in empowering women and in bringing out the true potential of the fairer sex. Thank you and Jai Hind.